welcome to the CraveCast, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Eric Mack, your host, and today I'm back at home in New Mexico and back in the offices of my hometown newspaper, the Taos News, our friends in journalism. Joining me from Texas also today is fellow Crave minion Danny Gallagher, and live in the CNET studios in San Francisco are the rest of the crew. It's Kelsey Adams, Bonnie Burton, Jeff Sparkman, and behind the controls, Lord Commander Stephen Beecham. How's everyone doing?
Good.
Awesome.
Excellent. So last month we talked robots, but this time around we're going to go beyond our own dimension and do our Halloween show a little early this year. It's kind of a back-to-school scary stories show. We're really excited to talk about the upcoming Evil Dead, Ghostbusters, and Twin Peaks reboots, and the new spin-off of Fear the Walking Dead, among other things. And then later, we'll do a little monster myth debunking of a famous Scottish monster you might know, and an alleged ghostly figure on Mars. And finally, we'll wrap it up with the growing mountain of evidence that we're living in the Matrix, whatever just happened included.
No, I just heard Danny scream. Is he okay?
There was a class 3 entity that just passed through.
Gotta watch out for the free roaming papers.
Knocked over my mic and made me dial 9 for some reason.
Oh, you have a cat.
Oh, that sounds like a cat.
Yeah.
Well, now that the cat and the ghost are out of the bag,
Cat, I'd have to talk to the apartment complex. I'm like, I'm not a hoarder.
Are you drinking straight vodka? Dude.
So as you
What?
can see,
No,
Danny is very excited about the Ghostbusters reboot. Why don't we go ahead and just start with you, Danny, and you can tell us about your wardrobe choices of late.
Yeah, get the patch in there. This is, yeah. So,
Oh,
swear,
you're
it's
getting
just
some
one.
music.
Oh,
I
there
like
it is.
this. Some
That's what I was
theme
waiting
music.
for. I was waiting for that music that I've heard for an entire week. The last week in July, I decided to challenge myself to something. You know, the new Ghostbusters reboot is coming out, and despite what I think is really some unnecessarily negative response to the fact that, not just the fact that it's a female cast, but that it's a reboot, which I kind of don't like, but I mean, I want another Ghostbusters movie, obviously. So anyway, I actually have a uniform that I made for Halloween that actually looks pretty good, and decided to wear it for an entire week in the middle of July in Dallas.
I love this. This is great. Look at this footage. How did people react when you went to like the grocery store and things?
I have no idea what
How'd
you're
this guy
showing me, by the
react?
way.
He's not
You're
reacting.
You're all watching something and I'm talking.
Oh, we're
Are
showing you
the video?
shopping in Target right now.
Yeah, you're shopping in
Oh, yeah.
Target.
That was the funny part. It kind of started as like a "why am I doing this" kind of thing, which is pretty much everyone's like, "Why would you do? Why not? Give it a try." So, but it kind of became this pseudo Stanford prison experiment, where I did this mainly because I'm extremely sociophobic. I don't know if that's a sociophobe, however you want to put it. And this was kind of a way of like drawing attention to myself without like setting myself on fire.
Who's
Which is
filming?
only slightly less warm than wearing
That's
the
my friend
costume.
Adon
Okay.
Gutierrez, who he has a camera. I don't know what kind it is, but it looks exactly like an iPhone. So when we went in
Oh, okay.
stores,
Because they
so he
usually
could
won't.
li-
They usually won't let you film in Target because they're worried you're a competitor or something. So.
Right, and maybe they knew, but they just didn't. But that was the funny part. Was like the first couple of days, nobody was saying anything to me. Well, the first person I saw just looked as I walked out of my apartment, just went like, "Hello," and backed away.
See,
Slowly.
if you lived in San Francisco, by the way, I'm just saying you should move here because no one would mind. People would be like, "Oh, okay."
It'd be totally normal.
It would be totally normal.
Well, that was it.
But then you get frustrated because you weren't getting a reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I grew up in a weird city. I grew up in New Orleans where I saw all kinds of crazy stuff, and nobody batted an eye. The locals didn't bat an eye. So I
Yeah.
thought here in puritanical Texas, I'd get beaten up or run out of town or made fun of. Nobody cared.
Nobody cares.
And by the third day, I went from Monday being like totally frightened to even leave my house to Wednesday being like indignant. Like, why is nobody looking at me? Why hasn't somebody robbed me yet? Why has somebody done something to me? And that's when I got with my friend Don, and I'm like, I need to go to the store and then go to the park or go out in public and just try to draw as much attention to myself as possible. So it was kind of a weird, I wouldn't say I'm cured of my social phobias, but it does kind of show you that, like, you know, all those thoughts you have, they're just in your head and there's no way to tell, like, what someone else is thinking about you, or unless they actually react or say something. So
I almost
kind of didn't make me care.
I almost think you should do it again when it's closer to the movie release, because there's a whole generation of people that have never seen Ghostbusters. I know it's hard to imagine, but there's kids that still don't know the joys of ghostbusting. So
yeah, that was the thing. Like, it was all guys. I should have figured that Ghostbusters hasn't been around in a while, and it was mostly like adults that responded. Kids. I had one kid who responded in the funniest way. He asked me why I captured his dead grandmother. And it led to my favorite line in the piece and the craziest conversation I've ever had in my life. Because at this point I was just like acting like a Ghostbuster. Like, I might as well just play the part and have fun. I kind of said to him, well, if I let your grandmother go, I got to let her grandmother go. I got to let her grandmother. Next thing I know, I'm dead grandmothers.
oh my God, I love this so much. This might be one of my favorite stories ever on CNET, that you decided to do this and put yourself out there. Because a lot of people have social anxiety. I don't have social anxiety. I have crowd anxiety. So I don't like it and so that, really works in my favorite Comic-Con. Where I just don't like large crowds of people surrounding me and I can't see an exit. But it's, I think this is a great idea for people who want to kind of like get out there and try to overcome some anxieties when it comes to being around strangers.
Yeah, you never really hear people admitting that they might have trouble cosplaying,
Yeah.
Like, oh, I made this amazing costume and I just want to be really brave about it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to admit that I kind of feel silly being half naked in public or something. No, I never really hear anybody talking about that, so that was kind of interesting.
I actually wore a Wonder Woman costume for a whole weekend, mainly because I couldn't find my clothes. I was.
This story.
No.
I think we all have versions of this one.
It was a real Wonder Woman. It was a real Wonder Woman costume, and I think I don't even remember where it was. I think it was in New York or something. And I just decided, and New York is one of those places too where no one's shocked by anything. And I had to go get laundry. I had to get my roommate's laundry. I had to like do all this stuff that was just normal, like banal, boring stuff in a Wonder Woman costume. Luckily, I was pretty fit then. I was always in my 20s. But I just remember the coolest thing that happened was a little girl came up to me and asked me to help her find her lost kitten.
Aww.
And I was like, oh my God, she thinks I'm actually Wonder Woman. This is so awesome. This is so much better than, because I'll tell you, catcalling is a lot worse when you're dressed as Wonder Woman than when you're dressed like a normal girl. So I got my share of skeezers, but I'm hoping that you didn't get catcalled. Did you get catcalled by some ladies looking to Ghostbusters?
You're hoping he didn't?
Not anyone I didn't pay. No, actually, I kind of I don't know how much you want to know about this. Like I said, the suit was extremely hot. So when the video I shot in the park with a Don, it was over 100 degrees.
Oh, geez.
And I'm in a full. And I mean, I'm wearing as little as possible underneath. Not that you needed to know that. But,
Tell us more.
What you can't. I got elbow pads. The elbow pads are the worst because they just chew up your arms. And these aren't the actual. I think the ones in the movie are gray and kind of bulkier, but I couldn't find them. And SWAT boots, which look cool but are the most uncomfortable shoes on the planet. Ladies, I understand you now.
Just be glad. Just be glad you didn't.
SWAT boots, guys, 3-inch high heels, basically.
I'm just glad you didn't choose to cosplay as a stormtrooper, because I'll tell you right now, that armor and that heat in Texas, you would not. That's not a good combination. So.
And they don't make a 3X stormtrooper.
They do. They do actually. Yeah. I don't think it. Here's the thing. When it's stormtroopers, it's all sizes. Clone troopers is the same size.
Right.
You have to remember, if you're going to stick to Star Wars canon, all clones are the same size, but stormtroopers can be ladies, as we know with the upcoming Star Wars.
Right.
So it could be any size. I don't think it matters. I think about size. What matters is how much armor or polyester are you willing to wear for a story? And so I think this should be a regular series where we make you wear different costumes.
No. So this is my hell. Because pretty soon we're gonna run out of costumes, and it's gonna be like, okay, Danny, this month you're Dr. Frankenfurter.
I'm glad that you. I'm glad that you wore this costume because maybe Kelsey can chime in on this too. The thing that I always hated about costumes with franchises, and now that we have an all-female cast for this upcoming Ghostbusters, and their costumes, which I think were revealed in another CNET article that shows that they're pretty similar to the ones that were in the movie. I'm just so glad they're similar to the ones that were in the original movie, and they weren't those stripper versions of Ghostbusters. Like, I know,
Sexy Ghostbusters.
Yeah,
Sexy Ghostbuster. Yeah.
So there's this thing, and it happens every Halloween where there's really slutty, and I don't want to slut shame. Let's just say there's stripper-like versions of every franchise costume out there, and they're called Sweet Sensations from Ruby's. Ruby's is the #1 costuming company, and they have this Ghostbusters costume for women that's I would say more like a bikini. Like, it's not exactly the. I mean, if you just did Ghostbusters sexy costume on Google search, you'll find it.
I'm doing this for work, by the way.
Actually, incidentally, if you Google the
call
words,
it what it is. It's a stripper uniform.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Well, is that it?
Yeah. I mean, no.
There's a proton pack one for another one, and then there's a sexy Slimer costume, which is even more disturbing. So, and I think they're on Amazon too. It's just sad.
A flash of John Belushi in my head. I really right now.
Yeah. So I want to commend you. I want to say thank you for cosplaying in the dead of like so much heat going on in Texas right now, and you cosplayed for the sake of a story. You should get a Pulitzer for this. This is hardcore journalism happening right here. I was impressed and entertained. So thank you for that.
Thank you. That means
so
a lot.
Danny, how are you planning to top yourself? What's next on the agenda?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's the wrong phrasing, but yeah. What's next? What costume is next? Please say Darth. Say Darth Vader. Say Darth Vader.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait till like winter, and then I'm gonna go to like Maine if I do Darth Vader. Honest, I mean, it gets kind of cold. We get, I don't know where everybody else is, but we get snow here like maybe 5 inches a year. So yeah, if I do something, I think I may do this Slutty Ghostbuster costume next.
Please do.
If the summer comes around.
In the winter time.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I look heavy enough in this cut. That was the thing. Like, I wore this. It just real quick. I don't want to dwell on this too much, but there were a lot of fat jokes out there, people.
Oh.
A lot of fat comments. No, it's fine. I love being roasted, so I didn't care. But I kind of didn't realize it till I looked at the pictures in the video because I thought this thing was bulky, and apparently it shrinks or something. I don't know.
Here's the thing. Never read the comments, Danny. I can't stress this enough.
Yeah.
Really? Because this is something I had to reteach myself.
I'm not calling anybody out. Look, I'll bust jokes with the bust. Get it? No, I mean, I'll roast people as much as the next of them. But I was like, man, why did it take me a week to realize that, like, the suit kind of, it's not like a wetsuit, but it's kind of like if they made a wetsuit out of like shredded wheat or something. It kind of
that is an unusual
breathes a little bit, but it sucks in at other points. So I don't know. I think I look okay.
To quote an iconic fashion man, I will say that, as Tim Gunn would say, you made it work, Danny.
Made it work.
Okay.
You made it work, and you have my respect because honestly, I couldn't have done it, and it would have drove me crazy to hear all the comments from people yelling at me, and I would have done it if I was actually ghost busting. I feel like if there were some haunted places. Did you go to any haunted places while you were dressed like that?
No, I should have. No, I mean, I wanted to go to places where I would not fit in.
Oh, okay.
So that it felt like if I went to a haunted house, which I personally, I'm kind of scared of those things. I'm scared of those.
Oh, now we get down to it. You were afraid they'd follow you home, weren't you?
So you are afraid of
I'll go
to.
Oh, Johnny.
But no, I wanted to go to places where I specifically wouldn't fit in. Like, I think if I'd done it another week, I would have gone to
church,
the DMV.
Oh yeah,
yeah, church.
Yeah.
Or I would have gone to what would be a good one? What would be the ultimate? I wanted to go to the library.
I feel like Whole Foods for some reason.
Yeah, Whole Foods. There is a Whole. One I wanted to do that I never got to because we needed a third person was I wanted one person to wear a sheet as a ghost, and then we go to the library and we just run and chase each other.
Yeah.
it's like me and it's like Preston Lacey and Wee Man and Jackass, except it's a Buster and a ghost, and I'm just like, get back here. I wanted to do that, but we never got around to it.
You should try crowd control. You should see if you could actually get people to like leave a room because you told them to and that kind of thing. All right, everybody, I'm going to need you to.
When I was standing at the side of the road holding the Ghostbusters, I should have just stood in the middle of the road and just been like,
All right, over here.
Just, you know what? I feel like at this point, the way the news is going and the world is headed, we're going to need a Ghostbuster soon. So just keep the costume handy. You never know when you might be recruited by local police or something for help during a situation. Yeah.
If I'm recruited by local police, then just give up.
This might actually get a little bit dark. Maybe
They're
we should
taking
move
whatever
on.
they can.
Hey, how come the sexy Ghostbuster costumes aren't called Ghostbusty?
Oh, Jeff.
Like, seriously.
How come when I Googled Sweet Sensations Ruby, by the way, HR, I'm doing this for work,
Yeah.
I didn't get an actual page?
So
I've used that.
I want to transition to something because I think Danny's inspiring me to do a story for CNET. And if we can transition to the Twin Peaks news, I think what I might do is I might spend a week as a log lady and see if anyone asks me about the log that I'm carrying for a week, and I'm just gonna have the log talk for me. So when I go to the store, when I do anything, I'm gonna be like, my log says I don't have to talk to you anymore, and I'm gonna take it to dinner parties. I think this could be a thing.
You would have to actually leave the house, though.
I will leave the house.
Okay,
I will leave. I won't just Skype. Yeah.
If I could learn how to speak backwards, I'd like to be the little guy in the dreams for a week. That'd be fun.
I can't
remember.
Oh, that's so good, Jeff.
Yeah, very good.
This is
I'm
going
just
to be
afraid
so
I actually
confusing
said
to all the
something.
millennials out there. It's going to baffle the millennials out there who
Right.
have never seen Twin Peaks.
They have no excuse. It's on Hulu. It's on Netflix.
It's
been
also
available.
not a porno.
It's been available for DVD for the last I don't know how many years.
Pretty soon we're going to have a talk about Battleship Potemkin, so hang in, folks.
Yeah.
We're gonna go.
So, and by the way, that population sign never changed. It's not. It's kind of like the Cabot Cove population sign from Murder, She Wrote. It should go down.
They should have borrowed the sign
podcast.
from McDonald's and just reversed.
It should actually be in chalk at this point.
So they started shooting the new one. Where are they shooting?
No.
At the
They're
same
shooting
place?
it in September. They
Oh,
haven't
right,
started
September.
yet, so they're shooting in September because there was that whole rigmarole of is David Lynch going to be involved? Is he not going to be involved? Mark Frost was always involved. Those were the two original creators, and David Lynch was, the iconic director that's done just some crazy movies. And if you're not familiar with them, I highly suggest you just look him up and watch everything he's ever done, and then you'll understand completely why this is so exciting. But Twin Peaks is one of those pivotal TV shows that either loved it or you hated it. And I remember when I watched it in high school, my dad saw an episode with me, and he's like, what the hell is this? And my dad's used to, like, cop procedurals. Like, my dad's weird thing for him was the Law & Order episode about vampires. Like, to him, that was the weird thing. But when you watch Twin Peaks, you have to remember it's like a surreal dream. Nothing really makes sense. You're going to dissect it for ages. All the characters are memorable, weird, and quirky. There's so many great quotes, and there's just so many great things happening. There's only 2 seasons before the new Showtime show. And some people say the second season was pretty bad, but I loved both seasons. I just thought it was quirky and weird. And the whole premise is that you're trying to figure out who killed this girl named Laura Palmer, who was like a high school prom queen. And as the show goes on, you find out these weird things about her that are just get weirder and weirder and weirder. And then weird things about her friends, weird things about her parents, weird things about like all the population of Twin Peaks, from the adults and the high school kids. And the music was great. It's by Julie Cruz, and she did the singing, but then I'm going to ruin his name. He's Italian. Angelo Baldamenti, I think. I'm going to say that. He was the, there's Kyle MacLachlan as Dale Cooper. He did the music for it. Now, Kyle MacLachlan is the only one of the original cast that has confirmed. They've confirmed he's coming back as Agent Dale Cooper. And I'm not going to say anything about him because if you haven't watched Twin Peaks, I don't want to spoil it for you, but you should go back and watch the 2 seasons of Twin Peaks that aired so you can get caught up, because this is 25 years later. Because in the show, Laura Palmer, when you see her in something called the Black Lodge, which is kind of like this dream state area, she says, I will see you again in 25 years. And sure enough, 25 years later, we get a new season of Twin Peaks. And Mark Frost is also writing a book that's a novelization that's supposed to catch us up in what's happened with all these characters in that 25-year span. So that's supposed to fill in some gaps. So if you're really a diehard Twin Peaks fan, you should rewatch both seasons, then read this book that's supposed to come out soon. I don't know when it's supposed to come out. I think it's this year. And then you'll be ready. But they haven't started filming till September. I just wrote an article last week that said they officially said they're filming in September. It was supposed to air 2016, but then it got pushed back because David Lynch said he didn't want to be involved, and then they brought him back, and there was all this, is he or isn't he going to be involved? And so they pushed it back to 2017, but then during the Television Critics press event that happened last week, the head of Showtime said, well, we're hoping for 2016. And there's going to be familiar faces, though he didn't say who, and big surprises, which is a no-brainer because it's David Lynch. So I don't know what's going to happen. I'm actually working on an article right now for CNET listing all the characters I want to come back and why, and all the characters I don't want to come back and why. And luckily, there's a lot of characters that died during first and second season, but as we know in Twin Peaks, people can come back to life and visit the living if this lodge situation's still happening. And then there's like demons and stuff. So hence why it's scary. That's why we're talking about this, by the way, if you're wondering, because this was supposed to be our scary show. It's a creepy show. It gave me nightmares. I had to watch this in my college dorm in the laundry room, the rickety, scary laundry room in the boiler room area of my dorm, because it was on.
Did you watch it with a creepy janitor too?
Kinda, yeah. And here's the thing: I watched it that way because it was on Monday nights, and as we know, what else is on Monday night? And what college kids want to watch?
Is this a test?
Monday Night Football.
Right.
You went to that kind of college.
And I went to CU
Right.
Boulder. I went to University of Colorado Boulder, which is all football people. So it's basically like me in the rickety, scary, one bulb basement watching this super scary show. And I could hear screaming above me because there's football players watching Monday Night Football on the nice big screen TV in the nice warm lobby of the dorm. So
really they did you a favor.
Oh my God. I had Bob nightmares. He's like the scary demon character in Twin Peaks. I had Bob nightmares forever. So I'm just saying I don't know if you can tell I'm a hardcore Twin Peaks fan. I know it's hard to believe.
No.
Also, if you're in London, they're doing a Twin Peaks dinner experience.
Oh yeah.
That I wrote
That
about.
sounded interesting.
So any of our London viewers or any of our London reporters, I hope they go because I want to see what it's like to basically go to a Twin Peaks murder dinner. I want to know
Yeah, I would imagine like there has to be some level of drug taking involved just to replicate the show. Like, they're gonna sneak LSD in the mashed potatoes, and
it's got to be something. It's got to be some. I mean, obviously they'd have coffee, which is a staple in the show,
and some pie.
Oh right,
pie.
Donuts,
And you can go to the Double R Diner in outside of Seattle, where they filmed a lot of Twin Peaks, and they have it looks like that diner, and they have all this memorabilia up and stuff, and you can get a coffee cup. I have a Twin Peaks coffee cup. So I'm just saying that I'm excited for the old fans like me who super love the show, and I'm excited to see what new fans might think of it. Millennials might think it's just lame. I have no idea, but I love it. So
You need to understand, though. They need to understand that without Twin Peaks, I feel like there is no Lost. There are none of the mega shows of the last 10 years where there's an ongoing mystery.
Well,
this was the first one.
Twin Peaks was weird because the whole first season, it was building up to figuring out who killed Laura Palmer, and you still didn't find out at the end. You had to wait until second season. And the other thing about this too was, it was so weird and bizarre. It really did set the stage for other weird and bizarre TV shows to the point now where every time there's something like Wayward Pines or before that Happy Town or like you mentioned Lost, people kind of compare it to Twin Peaks or they compare it to David Lynch type of cinematography and storytelling. And it is a really bizarre TV show, and I hope that it's going to translate on Showtime. I did read that it's going to be filmed as a movie, and then they're cutting it into 9 episodes.
Interesting.
So it is going to be continuous. So we'll see. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. And if anyone in the casting is listening, I'm available for any kind of extra work. But I am keeping my fingers crossed that one of the pivotal weird characters called Log Lady will show up. And she's this woman that basically her husband died, but his spirit was captured in a log, just a piece of wood that she carries around and talks to. And she chews gum all the time and puts gum underneath tables. She's just a wacky character. So I'm looking forward to this. Sorry, that's my wrath. That's my rant, rave.
Well, so between Twin Peaks and Ghostbusters, I mean, I think we're big fans, but neither of those are coming out for a while. And one thing that's coming up in just a week is the most shameless spinoff I've ever seen, which is the Fear the Walking Dead spinoff, which I believe it's basically in the same world, but we're going back to just after the zombie apocalypse and joining a different group in Los Angeles. Is that right?
Yep, that's it.
Is anyone else excited for this? I mean, I'm pretty excited just because
I've heard of more shameless spin-offs.
Yeah, you probably have a list of them.
Yeah, I could be.
I guess that's true.
Yeah, there's a lot of shameless spin-offs.
I'd like to know how much time they spent on the name. That's really.
Yeah.
Wait, which one? The Fear of Walking Dead? Oh, there's Rick.
Were they like?
So that's season 6 trailer that's coming up, which I'm excited for because finally Rick is like saying, you know what? I'm in charge. Shut up, whiners. Finally he's saying, hey, do you want to live? Come with me kind of situation. Oh, this is different. This is... Yeah, no more Rick.
Different groups.
Welcome to suburbia.
I don't take chances.
No, it's still Rick.
And you shouldn't.
Oh, this is the one I was looking for. I'm sorry. This
Yeah,
one.
that's season 6 that's coming up of Walking Dead. This is the new
right?
one. Yeah.
Yeah, the new one is next week, and then season 6 of Walking Dead is in October.
Right.
Just like a dude running for his life.
I feel like I'm listening to the old-timey radio version.
This is kids why you need a belt. This is why you should have a belt, kids.
Yep.
All those guys that wear their jeans down to their knees, this is why you need a belt. Zombies.
The more you know.
The more you know. Are you
So what
guys
do we think? I mean,
Are you guys excited?
No, my brother was actually mocking me yesterday because I've never seen it. I'm like, dude, I don't get to watch.
I'm not
everything.
gonna zombie shame you, Jeff. I'm just saying there's plenty of opportunities.
I get like 1 hour of sleep a night. I know zombies.
We
okay?
all have 24 hours in a day. It's just how you decide to spend your life, whether you want to be productive or watch a lot of TV
Hey,
like
I
me.
just watched an episode of Adam 12 yesterday just so I could see what the actress who did the voice of Jaina on the Super Friends looked like.
Aww.
Because I was curious.
Should I keep track of all the obscure shows we mentioned so that I can do a full later? Let's see. We got Murder, She Wrote.
Yeah.
That's not obscure.
Writing it.
That's not
Bite
obscure.
your
That's
tongue.
classic, man.
Yeah.
To this generation. Adam 12.
Yeah. That's all right. The millennials, there's a Wikipedia. That's what Wikipedia is for, kids. Just
Yeah.
look it up later. Kelsey, what do you think? What do you think about Walking Dead? this
Nothing
new
whatsoever.
thing?
No, I'm not a zombie person, except for Zombies Run, which I'm obsessed with. But that's my only zombie show.
I don't
I
know.
would
Are we
say-
all? Do I feel like maybe we're all going through zombie OD? Like maybe there's just
Well, we went
too
through the
much.
No, not at all.
vampire,
Not at
like
all. That's
Twilight
lunacy.
OD, right?
Yeah, I feel
We're all
like
burnt out on
is this-
vampires,
I
so now it's
guess-
zombies.
is this zombie fatigue?
Yeah.
Like, is
Yeah.
this something that's treatable? I
You
feel
can't
like-
have zombie fatigue
I mean,
because
I don't
that's when they
think.
get
I mean,
you.
Yeah.
Zombies. Like zombies to me were what got me into horror and supernatural stories, and I haven't watched. I haven't kept up with The Walking Dead. In fact, I kind of put myself in a corner after because the first season ender was so bad that I'm like, I don't want to know that it could get worse after this. And so for a while I didn't watch it, and then I picked it up again and realized it got better, like when the governor stuff came in and all that other when they actually got. But
I feel the same way. I feel like it was more like Talking Dead. Like I wanted all the humans to die because honestly, it was just, I felt like I was watching a horrible episode of Oprah where couples just never got along. So, and there's always that one, or Project Runway, but with a death element, because and no one could like
That's
agree.
something they need to do.
Like Project Deadway, I would watch that if they were like designers, and if your design isn't good, like
You're
if
offed.
if Michael Kors says no, I hate this, then you die.
Yeah.
Like after Heidi says Avita Zane, it's like you just get attacked by zombies.
You just drop through a hole
I
in the
would
floor.
watch that. I will say that the only thing that's gonna get me excited for Walking Dead and any spinoff is if they did it from the view of a zombie. Like if maybe the point of view with a zombie, so it's no dialogue.
Right.
You just
Or
see
just-
them running after humans.
Yeah.
But you see the life. What is the day in the life of a zombie like? I mean, what those guys just crawl around all day, but do they hear a sound and go towards it? Do zombies fight amongst themselves, but they just grunt? Like,
what was the indie movie that did that? There was like a romantic
there's a lot
comedy.
there's a lot of movies that do that.
Warm
like,
Bodies.
Warm Bodies.
That's not an indie
Yeah.
movie though. That was quite large. That had Nicholas Hoult in it.
Yeah, Warm Bodies, Fido, even Shaun of the Dead at the very end, they show you the life of,
Right.
what Nick Frost's life like as a zombie.
Spoiler.
Sorry. Oh, well, come on.
I know it's old at this point.
But I just,
Wait, what?
I don't know. I won't tell you any more
Guys,
spoilers,
speaking of Simon Pegg,
mean,
which we just did actually,
yes.
can we just take a quick poll? Are fast zombies okay with you guys?
Fast
No.
zombies.
No.
Fat or
No.
fast?
Fast.
No,
Oh.
and I have the definitive reason. I have the definitive reason to end that argument.
Okay.
So the word zombie, I don't know the Greek. I think it's Greek root word that zombie comes from. Literally means sleep.
Oh,
So,
I thought it was a Haitian word.
or maybe it's a Haitian word. Either way,
Either way.
West
Jeff,
African.
for the word for zombie comes from a word meaning sleep or a type of or sleepwalker.
That was fast.
I think is the term. So, unless Jackie Joyner Kersey becomes a zombie.
I actually had this question a while ago. Can zombies ride bikes? Because it's all muscle memory. So I was wondering if Lance Armstrong becomes a zombie, can he chase you down
He'd
quickly
deny
with
it.
a bike? He
If Lance
denied it.
Armstrong becomes a zombie and still can ride a bike, we know he's definitely juicing. So
And I
think-
also think zombies can attack with segways because you just have to lean in. You don't actually have to do anything on a segway. You just lean,
Yeah.
lean. So
Okay,
say-
Eric, hey, you're the master of segues.
Oh.
Hey.
I'm sorry.
Should we talk
hey,
real
I nearly
monsters?
made a
Maybe we should
Yahoo
talk-
joke there. At least
you don't
I
want to
did.
talk about Evil Dead, the new
Oh
show?
yeah, Evil Dead. Where are we with that? I didn't know if any of us had covered that.
Yeah, I think we covered it on the site. I'm super stoked for this Evil Dead TV spin-off thing.
Yeah, me too.
Because everyone involved is the original people. So we've got Bruce Campbell, obviously, Sam Raimi, obviously. Here's the cool thing. Here's a little crossover talk because I just did this article about the Xena reboot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So as you know, Bruce Campbell was in Xena,
Yeah.
not in Xena, in the show Xena with Lucy
Not
Lawless.
that he didn't try.
With Lucy Lawless, right? Well, Lucy Lawless is in this show.
Yeah.
How cool is
She's
that?
She's
Is she
what,
gonna
Dr.
play his
Nelby's
wife or
daughter.
something? Or
She
his
plays
girlfriend?
Ruby.
No. She plays the
Oh.
daughter of Dr. Nelby,
Yeah.
who just unleashed the
Necronomicon.
Necronomicon.
Yeah.
She was great on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. too.
Yeah, I mean, Lucy.
I know a lot about it.
Here's the
In
thing,
fact, let me
Lucy
go-
Lucy Lawless is not going to be on Xena, but she is going to be on this.
30 years ago, my friends and I spent the night at a cabin. We found the Necronomicon Ex Mortis, the Book of the Dead. Certain passages were
This is a lot of
recited.
footage from the original Evil Dead too, right?
No,
awoke
they
something.
reshot
They
it. The
reshot
original
it.
one is like a lot more.
That looks like the original.
That might be original right there.
No, they used the original. I can't see it, but I think they used the original in the trailer.
Yeah, that's
I remember
some. Yeah,
watch-
that
I've
right
watched it
there,
several
right there. That's original. Look how
Yeah.
young he is.
Uh,
Look how young Bruce is.
he was pretty.
He's still pretty.
The evil has found me.
Sorry, no offense, Mr. Campbell.
I just love this because now I can make my dad watch this, and he won't just say that guy from Burn Notice.
We're just hitting all the TV shows.
I know.
Today.
That's how my dad knows Bruce Campbell when I took him to his first
As
convention.
As long as he knows Bruce Campbell,
I took
I
my
think
dad
he's
to
doing
his
all right.
his first comic book convention. He saw the long line for Bruce Campbell and all these people dressed as zombies and had fake chainsaws and stuff. And he's like, I don't remember this episode of Burn Notice with the dead people. And I'm like, Dad, he's like really famous for doing Evil Dead. And he's like, Yeah, are you sure this isn't a Burn Notice episode? Yeah.
It's when the company got invaded by the virus. and
I'm excited for
Michael
this.
took them out.
This is gonna hit all my Evil Dead fandom points. It
Yeah.
looks
No, I
great.
think I'm more excited for this.
Yeah,
than-
the
than next.
soundtrack's great. Bruce is playing Bruce as he does. The special effects are, look at that. That's amazing.
And it's ultra gory, which it really wouldn't work. It
Yeah.
wouldn't work.
This is the best right here.
Yeah, so good. So good.
The old lady.
There's Lucy.
When's this premiere?
Yeah.
Halloween, right?
Halloween.
Is it Halloween?
Yep.
Yeah, wait, no.
As it should. Look at that.
Yo, Granny. Let's go.
So good. So good.
I'm not a grief counselor, but if it's any consolation, you're kind of like a young me. That ice ruined your life, and you're hot as hell.
You know they were Jewish, right?
I did not. Wish you could have said something before I made those dumb crosses. Okay.
So good.
God, I
What would
wanna
it
see
take
that
to
so
get
bad.
Bruce Campbell and Quentin Tarantino to team up on something? Because
Not
that
hard.
might be a
Not
dream
hard.
come
I don't think that's a difficult team up, honestly. Here's the thing,
I
Sam
think
Sam
Tarantino should have done
Raimi.
that sort of odd sequel.
Yeah.
Personally,
I don't know. I love Bruce Campbell. He's Bruce Campbell. I mean, there's a movie he did where he plays himself trying to help a town rid themselves of demons. But he plays himself. Like, I think that he's so in tune with his audience, his fandom, and his characters. And he's just so perfect for. I mean, obviously he's Ash. No one else can play Ash, and he's just so great. I'm super excited for this. So come Halloween,
have you ever
I'm
seen
watching
him?
this.
Have you ever seen him at like a live Q&A or?
Yeah.
I
Not
read
a
a transcript
con-
of one. He was picking up girls on the stage
Yeah.
while he was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
He's
gay, I
got.
have to admit.
Here's the thing. He's got swagger.
Yeah.
He's definitely.
Oh, yeah.
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 And he
But
flirts on
he
Twitter.
plays with an audience. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead. What
I
were you
can't
saying?
think. I was like, he just plays with an audience like nobody I've ever like. Not even like he could just do, like, okay, we're gonna give you a stage for an hour. You can do whatever you want and just talk. And he could have come up with just so much fun stuff. I wasn't there, but I saw a video where a friend asked, "Hey, would you call a friend of mine on my cell phone?" And he picks up the phone and basically, I guess it was like his mom or something, and he says, "Hello, is this Roger?" He says, "Yeah." "We have Steve," and he hangs up the phone.
Oh, that's awesome.
He's like, okay, let me call him back so I don't get in trouble. Yeah, is this Roger? Yeah, we still have Steve. We want the money. Click. I mean, just doesn't turn it off.
I love him. He's just so funny, and he gets his fans, and he's entertaining. And if you are ever at a convention where he's at, and he goes to a lot of smaller conventions too, not just Comic-Con. I've seen him because I go to all the small conventions as well. He's really good at photo ops. He'll do anything in a photo op. He's like totally for that. And also he's just really good with his fans. I've never heard fans complain about him. He doesn't do the diva thing. He's just really funny and really humble and really grateful to his fans, and I think that shows. And I just can't wait for this show. I'm just super excited. So maybe we'll do a follow-up on CNET, and we'll do like kind of a roundtable review of this show. So I'm excited. And Lucy Lawless is great. So
I think we should live blog it.
I do
Yeah,
too.
for real.
Oh, that'd be
I
great.
do too.
Yeah.
And it's just gonna be my favorite thing, I think, for Halloween.
My daughter wants to see it.
Awesome.
I don't know.
Do it.
Well, you know.
I saw Exorcist when I was 7. I turned
I
out
saw
fine.
Friday the 13th when I was
Crazy.
5.
Yeah,
Yeah, me too.
I saw the Rainbow Bright movie when I was. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I was.
Yeah. See, it's called 1970s parenting.
Yeah.
Well, we got about 10 minutes here to move on to a few real monsters.
Yeah.
Real monsters in air quotes. Over the course of the last few months, we've kind of been keeping an eye on the Loch Ness Monster, as we do for you here on Crave, keeping a pulse on the real monsters of the world. And unfortunately for Nessie fans around the world, it seems that the Loch Ness Monster may have been catfishing us all these years. I wrote a story a few weeks back. One of the premier Nessie hunters in the world, after 25 years, he's decided that he thinks the Loch Ness Monster is really a giant catfish.
A delicious catfish.
But a giant catfish, when you think about it, is almost as scary.
Gave up his life to.
Yeah. That's sad.
In the early
left
90s,
his
he gave
wife
up
and
everything,
kids
moved to Loch Ness
so far.
to hunt for Nessie full time, and after almost 20 years, he's decided that all the evidence points to this being a very large species of catfish that was introduced probably around the early 1900s for fishing, and they can grow to like immense sizes.
Basically,
and,
the Victorians wanted a bowl cleaner for the log.
a mighty placata.
But does this catfish have a long neck, though? I mean, I feel like, wasn't Nessie supposed to look more like a brontosaurus and less like a Long John Silver's platter? Like, I feel like...
the famous like long neck photos, like from the early 1900s have been debunked a while ago.
Oh.
Like the ones, so those are
clearly I need
Yeah.
to catch up.
Yeah, where,
you
where the
are
hell have you
60
been?
years
Bob?
behind.
Sorry, I thought it was.
You're like,
I thought that was. It's kind of like the Bigfoot photo, right? Where he's like in the forest. I guess that's not real either.
This is probably
And
the most,
Santa.
it's probably
I
the
feel,
most famous one. Right
yeah, that's
here,
the one
right?
everyone knows.
That looks like
Yeah.
a catfish sticking his arm out of the
Or
water.
yeah, yeah, it's just an arm.
I hope it's an arm.
Eric, one of your commenters suggests that what happened was Nessie was devoured by the giant catfish, which I think is pretty
Ooh,
reasonable.
that's-
Ah.
As
I
everyone
like
knows,
that.
catfish are terrifying.
Which
They're
will
totally
then will be
terrifying.
devoured by a shark tornado, as we learned from Sharknado 3, that it can go into space, it can go into Scotland, it can go anywhere. So because Sharknado was a real thing, right? That's
Oh yeah, it's
Okay.
totally legit.
Here's the thing. Wasn't that? I remember
Documentary.
that being an issue when Shark Week was happening. That you'd start to get all these like fake shark documentaries
Yeah.
popping
Yeah.
up, and people going, "Oh, this is amazing," because it's on Discovery Channel or History Channel or wherever. And you found out, no, this is the reason that History Channel has the ancient aliens. Doesn't necessarily mean it's real.
You know, I live down the road from George R.R. Martin, who's in Santa Fe, and so I can confirm that the reason the books are not done yet is because he was decapitated by a flying shark.
I knew it.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Oh.
Oh, George.
Ain't that always the way though?
I thought they
So-
should have killed him in a red shark wedding, but that was just me.
Wasn't that a Billy Idol song?
Yeah, it's a Billy Idol song.
Red shark wedding.
So it's a catfish.
So it's a catfish.
Anything else? Do we know how it tastes? Do we know
Wait.
what it's named?
Sorry.
Chip.
What what's interesting is about a year ago, I think there was a picture from Apple Maps of Loch Ness that cropped up that appeared to show the Loch Ness monster, and some people said it was actually looked like the wake from a boat, but it does kind of match the outline of the same species of catfish. So we may have settled that one once and for all.
It'd be
and
ironic
speaking-
if somebody found something like this with Apple Maps.
right.
How ironic. Well,
It
I
was found by
remember.
all the drivers who were
I think
directed
we're missing
into
the
Yeah.
bigger.
Yeah.
trying to get off the
if
one.
I may
on-
just
Well,
add-
they wanted to like drain the lake. I remember that. They wanted to send down some like underwater drones.
That sounds like a
Lake? Is
euphemism.
there like a big
I'll be right back. I gotta go drain the lake.
What,
Draining
Danny?
the lake.
I thought you
I
were
think
busy
we're missing
training your
bigger
dragons,
stories.
dude.
What, Danny? We're sorry. We're neglecting you. What were you saying?
No, I'm trying to really force this joke. So brace yourself.
Okay.
Okay.
I think the big story. One time I think it was a log. At one time it was we said it was just a catfish. Now it's a boat. I think what we're missing is that Loch Ness is a shapeshifter.
Yeah.
Like he can.
That's not
Okay,
a
I'm
joke.
glad I
That's
for-
real.
Yeah.
I would believe that. I mean if I learned anything from X-Files, shapeshifters can take any shape.
Hence the name.
Hence the name. Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, or it could be an alien. I think there was one episode of Ancient Aliens that thought that Loch Ness was an alien. So
If there wasn't, there will be in about a week.
I know. What other monsters do we have to debunk, Eric?
So we got one more monster, and then we got to run. I did a bit of monster debunking myself earlier this month. You may have seen something going around the internet. It was a picture from the Mars Curiosity rover that appeared to show a woman in like a flowing dress standing on a rock on the surface of Mars. And
Yeah.
as usual, it's a black and white, grainy photo. But there's this figure that does look like a woman with long hair in a dress. And so that went around all the UFO conspiracy sites and Huffington Post and all over the place. And so I called
Turns out it's
NASA to
catfish.
get their opinion, and the guy at NASA was like, we get this call like every day. He didn't really have a lot of time.
But
He
he
was
hadn't
like-
heard. No. But he told
just
you he hadn't
imagine the
heard about
guy-
this one.
Yeah, he said he hadn't heard about it. He said we get some kind of call along these lines. Somebody thinks they see something in a photo. I mean, because there's dozens of photos that come back from all the rovers like every day, and people are always going through them with a fine-tooth comb. And so, while I was waiting to hear back from a scientist, which I actually still haven't, I went through some of the other photos from the same day, from the same spot. That this photo of an allegedly strange woman was taken. And
She might be a
in that
perfectly normal
story,
woman.
Stephen, if you can scroll down to the very bottom, I posted another photo, and it's a photo of the same angle of the same spot on the same day on Mars, but it's taken from just a different camera that's a little higher up on the rover.
So it's not
And
the same
so
angle.
you actually get a little piece of the rover's wheel in the shot, which means that if there is a woman on Mars, she's about 2 inches tall.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the rover ran over her, which
Yeah.
would be
Well,
unfortunate.
May have.
I love these shots because they're such a Rorschach test. I'm pretty sure I saw Jawa, or at least R2D2,
Yeah, right.
someone.
Right. I thought it was funny that people project gender onto this little figure. You know, I mean, so it's somebody in a
her
robe.
name would be Marcia.
Somebody's in a robe. What's gendered
Marcia.
about that? You know, male Jedi wear robes.
Marcia. Why is it always Marcia? Yeah, I love this stuff. It's like the Jesus and the Toast.
Turns out it's really Bigfoot.
It's Nessie.
Yeah.
I just
But
love
it
the
is
fact
funny
that
'cause all these-
NASA's still getting calls about this. That
NASA
means there's-
always gets calls
I
about
think it's
this.
amusing that they answer
Yeah,
them.
but they shuffle this off on like one poor
No,
guy.
I honestly
Always
think
has to take the
I
call.
honestly think
It's like,
NASA NASA has a division for this because when I was
Right.
when I was like 8, I wrote them a letter asking them. I think it was an ET came out. I asked them if they had any internships at NASA for talking to aliens and helping them get home. And they wrote me this nice letter back saying that, there's no UFOs, there's no, the galaxy is big, but we have not come across any aliens. It was a big, conspiracy theory letter, I thought, but
Yeah,
that was
but that's to an 8-year-old.
yeah, it was to an 8-year-old.
Yeah,
but I thought that was
that's-
sweet.
Yeah, no, that's.
But I think they have a whole.
Yeah.
They must
No,
have
I
a
get
whole
that. I
division. They must
I
have a
get that.
whole customer service division just dedicated to UFO people and kids.
Does
I
it have
talked to the
arms?
guy-
Does it have legs?
I talked to the press officer.
Dan Aykroyd.
What's that?
But,
What? What
it's
about?
20 you said you wrote to NASA
Yeah.
about ET. I did the same thing to Dan Aykroyd.
Last
And
week.
I was 26. So.
That's awesome.
And he sent you the costume.
And a crystal skull of vodka.
Yeah.
I spoke to actually the press officer for Mars exploration at NASA, and I called him up. He answered the phone, and I told him what I was looking into, and there was a pause on the line and kind of a sigh, and he just went, "What?" and then,
Man, I was going to be an astronaut. What am I doing this for?
I just want to commend you, Eric, because we may be the only blog that actually, and we're not even a blog, we're a legit news site. We may be the only legit journalist that decided to actually ask NASA for their opinion.
Research.
We did this thing
Research,
called fact checking, where we actually call NASA and people that would give us a straight answer, or at least the right one, on
Well,
what
and-
this is, as opposed to
Good
just
for you.
reblogging what
Yeah.
everybody else is blogging. So thank you for taking the time to actually call NASA. That even
Yes.
though they gaped in disgust at you on the phone, at least you got a
Politely.
Yeah.
polite,
Right, he was very
polite
nice, and-
decline.
It
Yeah.
was very nice.
Yeah.
But what's really amazing to me is, the page on NASA, and like I said, anyone can go look at this image, and people go comb through and look for funny things. But on the same page where this image was found with the woman, like 5 images down is the one that I looked at. That's the same thing, but with a wheel in it. They actually give it perspective.
Yeah.
So everything's there, but people are just looking
It's
for
a
what they
very,
want to
very
look for.
tiny woman.
No, that's
Now
awesome.
NASA's probably got like calls of like, why are there 2-inch women on Mars?
Yeah.
What are we- It's
All
exactly
Hollywood.
2-inch
This is a
women.
franchise.
Ah!
Oh, this
But-
is awesome.
I think we're gonna have to leave it there.
Oh wait.
I've got a-
Can I
Yeah.
do one more thing? Since
Okay.
I wrote this story last night because I knew we were gonna do a horror theme. So it's called Goth Box.
Yeah.
And it's one of those subscription mystery boxes that you can get. It's a Kickstarter campaign to help this get off the ground.
It's just a box.
but
of
it's
sadness.
a box of awesome. Yeah, it is. It's a
That was my
gloomy-
nickname in high school.
It's a gloomy box full of goth stuff. And the cool thing is I think it's the only one of its kind, because usually you get like Loot Crate or Narwhal Unicorn, Bacon, whatever. There's always some weird geeky box that's out there for geeks, but nothing for goths. And
So wait, can I guess what's in it? Can I get
Yeah.
Adderall? So
Black eyeliner.
the ashes,
that was me.
the ashes of
That was-
ex-boyfriends, like unicorn tears. No. It's got like it could be customized for different goths. So if you're like a steampunk goth, or if you're a
Oh, that's
traditional
sweet.
goth,
Yeah, respect
or if
that.
you're like a geeky, like if you're the kind of goth that likes to craft. If you're like the kind of goth that likes, just straight up horror and you just like, like vampire stuff. So it's actually, they send you a little questionnaire and you say what kind of goth you are, and that's a sample of one of the things that could happen in Goth box for you. And there's like goth candy, goth jewelry.
They have one like for like Visigoth.
Yeah, they have it for exactly. They have it for it's for guys or girls, so they have it gender specified if you care about gender specified your stuff, so you just don't end up with a bunch of jewelry if you're a dude. But there's some cool stuff here. So I interviewed the creator of the Goth box about why she thought that there should be a Goth box, and she said Goths deserve mystery boxes too, and they need cheering up. And I thought that was kind of sweet.
Organic, bubbling cauldron bath bombs.
I know, and I'm a goth, even though I'm wearing color right now. I'm doing this because my mom says I need to wear more color so I don't look dead. So I'm wearing a rainbow sweater right now. But I am goth, and I am getting this box because I think that goths deserve a little bit of Wednesday Addams to show up at the doorstep.
When you have to wear certain clothing to prove you're not dead, that's pretty goth. That's pretty goth.
Yeah.
That's pretty goth.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I wrote the story. I wrote the story today, and you can check it up on CNET, and you can check out the Kickstarter. But I wanted to just slip that in there before we left because I actually did. I stayed up till 3 a.m. to write this article because I didn't know if we'd have enough spooky stuff to talk about. Clearly, I was wrong, but you're welcome, Internet.
Awesome.
Yes.
Thank you, Bonnie, and thank you everyone for watching today. We're gonna have to wrap it up. We'll have to talk about the Matrix next time. That's actually something I'm still working on anyway. So we'll learn in a future CraveCast if we're living in the Matrix.
You're still deciding red pill, blue pill.
I'm
You're just
figuring
not even
it
sure.
out. I am assembling the evidence. So thank you, everyone. As always, you can find all the stories we talked about on cnet.com/crave. Find us on Twitter @crave. And for Bonnie Burton, Kelsey Adams, Jeff Sparkman, Danny Gallagher, and Stephen Beecham, I'm Eric Mack. This has been the CraveCast, and we'll see you next time.